Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again. Welcome to 2026, first edition of the Elias Mackos Show for this year. Now we're continuing something into 2026, our weekly look every Monday at this time. We take a look at the cost of common goods and services. How much should something cost? Because you know what? You're the one paying for it. Today, we take a look at coffee. And you know, for most of us out there, the day doesn't start until you've had your first cup of joe. But lately, that morning cup feels like it costs more than ever. Small, medium, large, drip, latte, cold brew, prices all over the map. So how much are you paying for a cup of coffee? Send me a text message, 514-790-0800. I'd love to know what the going rate is for your cup of drip coffee or maybe your cafe latte. And now let's head to a lovely, wonderful woman with a little bit more on the cost of coffee. Donna Stafford is the owner of Cafe Gourmet. Donna, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Elias. This is great.
And of course, we got to hang out in December at the big 80th birthday party for CJD, so it was great to see you there.
Fantastic. What a great party get-together.
It was great. It was great. Now, Dawn, a true story from my life. I make a pot of coffee every morning.
Good for you.
And I fill up my travel mug, and I bring
you win a prize.
Yeah, and I bring it to work. But guess what I did this morning? Because I haven't done it in 2 weeks. I was off for 2 weeks. I left the travel mug on the counter, didn't bring it to work.
Isn't that disappointing when you get to your office and you say, oh, no.
Major bummer, okay? But I imagine, Donna, another major bummer is you trying to navigate the cost of coffee. What are you seeing out there?
Well, 2025 was a very, very volatile year for coffee, but as it was for all consumable goods, our grocery bills, etc., coffee was no different. And I really think when it comes to a cost of cup of coffee, like you just mentioned, you brew a pot, be it a filter pot of coffee or some people like French press, and you fill your thermos. That's going to cost you 40, 50, 60 cents a cup. Very reasonable. Mm-hmm. If you purchase a coffee from a coffee shop, well,
yeah.
Then, you're breaking the bank. You have to factor in so many things. There's the cream, the sugar, the compostable cups, lids, and stir sticks cost a fortune for the merchant.
And all of those costs have gone up, right?
Tremendously.
So let me ask you about the beans for a second here, because I wonder if, it's a case of you get what you pay for. Because I have listeners who are already sending me messages, right? They get their medium. Listen to this. I have a couple of listeners now bringing up a medium coffee at McDonald's. Now, that's a big chain. I'm sure they've got some benefits there when you're buying in bulk. They pay $1.50 for a medium coffee. They say that's a great deal. They'll take it. But do you get what you pay for when it comes to buying that cup of coffee?
I would say you get what you pay for, but honestly out there, a lot of the coffee chains have unfortunately lowered their quality of coffee. And honestly, I think if I were on the road and I ran out of my thermos of coffee that I brought from home, the one place I would stop would be McDonald's.
Really? And you're obviously with all the chains that are out there, right? The Tim Hortons and the Starbucks and that kind of stuff.
So etc. Yeah.
So our listeners are onto something here, right? If they're making that same determination when they're outside of the house.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of, you have to like what you're drinking, and the taste is there. There's a little bit better quality there when it comes to McDonald's coffee, I would say.
Let me ask you about getting bang for your buck when you're going to be buying your beans, right? If someone wants to go to Cafe Gourmet and they want some roasted beans, that kind of stuff, and how do you guide someone on choosing the right bean that's got great flavor but is also reasonably priced?
I love that question, Elias. We had a client last month who said she was suggesting to a friend of hers to contact us. She said, it's amazing. She said, you talk to these girls and they interview you about your coffee, about your coffee taste, about what you like, about what have you had before? How do you make it? We go through a list of, it's a mental list, but it's probably about 25 questions when we have a conversation with a new client to really determine what we can put together as a flavor profile for them. We know the characteristics of our coffee, so it's trust us after chatting with you to try to put something together that you will like.
Let me ask you, because when you pick up, let's say, a coffee at the store, you're looking at the package of beans, roasted coffee. Sometimes there are a lot of buzzwords on there, right? Fair trade, and I'm trying to think of the words now, but there's all these.
Shade grown.
Yeah. So
it doesn't end.
What are the buzzwords that you should be looking for on a package, and what are the ones that just don't matter?
Well, bear in mind when you're buying coffee from a grocery store, off a shelf, when was this coffee roasted? How long has it been sitting on a pallet somewhere until it gets onto that shelf and into your hands, and then into your home and to brew a pot of coffee? Its freshness, it's like if you go into if you buy freshly roasted peanuts or freshly roasted cashews, when you get that warm handful of cashews in your hand and it's freshly roasted, as opposed to something you're going to buy off a shelf out of a bin and you take that home. Night and day, the difference, right? Same goes with coffee.
Donna,
you want freshly roasted.
And Donna, what's the case you make? We're with Donna Stafford, the owner of Cafe Gourmet. What's the case you make to someone who is probably used to going to the grocery store and getting that package that's on the shelf that may have been sitting on a pallet beforehand for months and months and months, to saying, you know what, I'm going to go visit a Cafe Gourmet or my local coffee shop and that kind of stuff, and start to get the stuff that was roasted recently in this city?
Well, this goes back to our little interview with our new clients, and we always suggest try a small quantity. You try it, you taste it. It's going to be tough to go back to your store-bought, grocery store-bought coffee that again, you don't know how long it's been sitting around. You get freshly roasted, freshly ground, small quantity. Sometimes we suggest to try 2 or 3 different blends we can make up for you. Take it from there. We can tweak it as we go. And right now, the price of coffee, like I said, is very volatile. It has exploded. But there's not a huge difference once you break it down to a cup of coffee. If you get something that is from the Coffee Gourmet Center, nice and fresh and properly blended for your taste profile.
Donna, tell me what your favorite coffee is.
Oh my gosh. I'm a coffee drinker. I love brown roasted coffees. I'll tell you why. A lot of people want something stronger, more robust, which we will then suggest maybe putting a little bit of a French roast or dark roast in your coffee. I much prefer sticking with a brown roast. It's very rich. I'll put an extra scoop of coffee, in to make my pot to get that richness and delicious, delicious flavor with not too much of an afterbite.
And Donna, you go into a fancy coffee shop, okay? And they got all types of buzzwords now. Third wave, on and on and on, okay?
Yeah.
What's the most that you would spend on a latte?
You mean after rolling my eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If I were to go, if I'm with friends who want to stop in for a coffee somewhere, I'll go along. And I will always get a small something or other to be part of the gang. The prices of a cup of coffee just blow my mind. I cannot imagine $6, $7, $8 for a cup of coffee. It just doesn't compute.
Knowing what you know about what the cost of the supplies are, is it like, do you understand the price?
The price is understandable because of the cost. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we preach. We've always been a big fan, and we preach the brew at home.
Yeah.
And take coffee to go. Make yourself a sandwich. Take a coffee to go. You save so much money in a day, in a week, in a month. Add it up.
Yeah, and you just think about if you go into the office 200 days a year, and you're buying a $7 latte each time. That's a lot. So
eventually, you've got a down payment for a house going on.
Totally. Donna, tremendous having you back on the show. Thanks so much. And Stefan in Dorval writes me this: Elias, we love Donna's coffee.
Oh, I know who he is. I love him. He's great. Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks for coming, Donna, onto the program. Talk soon.
Thank you, Elias. Have a great day.
That's Donna Stafford, the owner of Cafe Gourmet.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.